My name is Faith Campbell, and my topic of research for IPHC 303 is the right for teenagers to access contraceptives without parental consent. In today's world, pregnancy and sexually transmitted infections are a major concern, especially when it comes to teenagers. Teenagers begin their sex life at an early age, as early as 13 years of age, especially without parental knowledge. Parental consent may be necessary, but it's definitely not the best thing to do when it comes to keeping the adolescent safe, as well as giving the adolescent an opportunity to make their own decisions, especially when it comes to their own health. There are debates on why a teen should and should not have access to contraceptives without parental consent. They should have access without parental consent due to the fact that they make their own decision with who they choose to be sexually active with, or who they choose to be in a relationship with, or whatever the case may be. They should not have the right without parental consent due to the fact that some teenagers can be very immature, and especially if they're not making the right decisions, then parental consent should definitely be a requirement. There are condoms. It is reported that 78% of females and 85% of males use some form of contraception, such as condoms, during their first time of intercourse. Pros and cons of parental consent. The pros could be that the parent is keeping their child safe and knowing everything about their child, even though it's not necessarily something that the parent should know about their child. It can be a good thing due to the fact that the parents know what the child is doing, as well as, keeping them safe and having the talk with them, and, giving them the information that they may need later on in life when it comes to that point in their life to have sex in adolescence. It's definitely a con because when a parent becomes involved, that could decrease the chances of the adolescent reaching out to access contraceptives, which in turn can cause STIs and pregnancies and things of that nature. Confidentiality can be an issue due to the fact that if, for example, the adolescent was being referred to a new doctor or specialist, they may need access to their medical records. They may need a copy of their medical records. It may not be that easy due to the fact that parents can do the same thing. However, it is easy for them to gain access to it if the child is a minor. However, doctor offices and clinics definitely have a policy when it comes to doctor-patient confidentiality, and there is no way that that can be breached whatsoever. There are state laws, not necessarily any federal or national laws per se, but there are state laws in every state where they have a definition of what a mature minor is. Whether the minor is married or 15 years of age or older, have a child, or whether they are living away from home without parental consent, such as being a college student, such as I am. Males definitely have less of a responsibility when it comes to contraception. They can easily walk into a store and buy condoms without any permission or prescription. However, females have to make an appointment with their gynecologist or with their nurse practitioner, give them basically like a rundown of their sexual history, and then have to figure out what form of birth control is right for them. And in turn, that gives them more of a responsibility to keep up with contraceptives than males do. HIV, AIDS, and STIs is definitely another issue. According to the CDC, an STI is an infection that can be passed from one host to the next through sexual contact. They're definitely common due to the fact that contraceptives are available. However, they're more common than we think. The CDC has reported at least 20 million cases each year, with the range falling between the ages of 15 and 24 due to the fact that chlamydia is probably the most common STD within that age range, because in adolescence, the bodies are still developing, and sometimes adolescents have more than one sex partner. If left untreated, that can cause difficulty getting pregnant in later years, infection of the ovaries and fallopian tubes. Now, in the future, there are some things coming up, such as a male birth control pill. Now, it may not necessarily come in the form of a pill, but it can come in the form of a patch or vaccine. For women, there's also a gel that can be added to the list of contraceptives for women. It can be non-hormonal. It can definitely protect against STIs and unwanted pregnancies. However, this is just stuff that is being funded at the moment, which should come on the market sometime in the next 20 to 50 years. Given these points, teenagers should have access to contraceptives without parental consent. That way, their sexual health and their personal life can stay confidential. With parental involvement, it can make things much worse for the adolescent. The best thing for the adolescent to seek access to contraceptives is without parental consent, so that way they're able to make own decisions about their own health. And that's definitely what adolescence is about. It's about growing up and having the right to make decisions for yourself. Thank you.